The fastest and easiest method to install a charging station in practice is to use a flat cable and a junction box. But be careful, you should give this a serious thought. With this short video, we guide you around stumbling blocks so that you can install your charging station not only fast, but reliably and in a safe manner. Stumbling block number 1. Metallic electric installation tube. The round cable is laid in a metal tube for protection. However, this only protects from being touched. The reason is that in case of a round cable, the leads do not run parallel but are stranded and cross each other continuously. If the cable is now squeezed, with or without a tube, then metal presses against metal at such crossovers and squash the insulation of the leads. The leads now contact each other and this results in a short circuit. To prevent this, a sufficiently strong metal tube should be used, which does, however, increase the installation effort and costs unnecessarily. The flat cable in comparison has a high-quality insulation and a very robust sheath. Additionally, the leads run parallel and do not cross over. If this cable is now squashed, the leads do not contact each other. Therefore, the leads are much better protected from mechanical interferences. Another point is that a cable mounted to a wall is cooled by circulating air. This cooling effect in case of a flat cable is much higher due to the favorable arrangement of the leads and their larger surface compared to a round cable. Laying this cable in a tube prevents this direct cooling. There is an air gap between cable sheath and tube that acts like a first-class heat insulation. The cable heats up considerably even under a moderate load. The resilience of the cable is reduced and its lifespan shortened drastically. This is like having a cable in a thermos flask. Stumbling block number 2. Protection from direct sunlight. Conventional cables suffer from direct sunlight. They become brittle and develop cracks. Sunlight is composed of heat radiation, visible light, and ultraviolet high-energy radiation. This ultraviolet radiation destroys the polymer molecule chain and causes the material to lose its mechanical and electrical properties rapidly. Carbon black is often added to black paint as protection against ultraviolet radiation. The color absorbs radiation and prevents it slightly from penetration. It also absorbs much more heat. A black cable under direct sunlight can heat up to 80 degrees even without generated electricity. Whereas a light-colored cable, for example gray cable, heats up 20 degrees less under the same conditions. The resilience and lifespan of a black cable in comparison is considerably reduced. By adding special stabilizers, Woertz flat cables are all protected from the dangerous ultraviolet radiation. This means they can also be used in the open air without causing any problems. Stumbling block number 3. Construction products regulation. The primary requirements for cables for charging stations are subject to classification B2CA. This classification refers to preventing flame propagation, as well restricting the development of a fire and the thermal release rate. However, in order to select the correct cable, further factors must not be neglected. In particular, in case of charging stations in underground car parks or multi-story car parks, cables should not present a danger by contributing to any fire breaking out. This means no strong development of smoke, no burning droplets, and no corrosive gas development. This additional classification is indicated with the letters S for smoke, D for droplets, and A for corrosion. It is necessary that these requirements are adhered to as many charging stations are located in closed rooms. In real life, many inflammable materials are often stored directly below heavily loaded cables of a charging station. Burning droplets on tires, cleaning material or oil puddles cause dangerous fires. In addition, the development of thick smoke and acidic gases hamper any escape. People are injured and there will be large damage done. All this can be avoided if a charging station is installed that has the relevant classification with additional classifications. All Woertz cables fulfill the highest safety requirements without exception, having all necessary additional classifications and are also marked accordingly. Stumbling block number 4. Water in the junction box. In case of round cables, it's absolutely necessary to use a longitudinally waterproof cable in damp surroundings. If the sheath is damaged, water can penetrate into the cable and run along the longitudinal gaps right up to the junction box. This will cause short circuits, damage the connected charging station, or even lead to inflammation. Due to its design, the flat cable has no longitudinal gaps. And also the flat cable runs outside of the junction box and not into it, as is the case with the round cable. Stumbling block number 5. Charging station with plug. Charging stations with plug-in cable connections are available on the market. The plug-in connection should reduce the assembly time. This may be practical at a first glance. However, the disadvantages are manifold once you take a closer look. A charging station is usually installed once and remains at the same place until the end of its lifespan. There is not much sense in having a plug. Anyway, the assembly with a plug means that you also need to install a socket with all leads. Also, additional plug connections with further contact points, in particular high charging currents, entail additional resistance, loss and error rates. To summarize, a plug causes increased efforts, more material, more costs, more resistance, and present a higher risk. By the way, connecting boxes from Woertz can be had with 2 connecting cables. In this way, you do not only reduce costs, but also contact resistance and ensure that your charging stations run without fault and reliably. Woertz also supplies measured to size and tested cable outlets, so that you only have to mount these to the wall and connect them with your charging station.
Woertz, take the original.